from Sweet Idea, but Overreach a class above them, and Overreach wins the slipper.
Faulkner's raced up and grabbed them, and Faulkner's got up to win from Diademi. Fiorente just in front of Red Canoe, who's coming back. Fiorente by a neck, Oliver's lifting him, and Fiorente won the Melbourne Cup again.
Hello and welcome to Favourite Moments. The Sanster family are synonymous with horse breeding in Victoria and globally. Here's a look back at some of the great horses and great moments associated with Swettenham stud.
I mean, he just had such presence in the parade ring. I mean, the lead-up races, and it was a pretty, you know, I mean, So You Think was in there, touted. Yeah, would he stay? Would he not? And he was there till the end. But the way Mosse rode that American in that race, and to come through, and you know, Greg Carpenter always said that was, you know, a very, very tough Melbourne Cup. I mean, the way he handicapped it.
Racing the 150th time the Cup's underway. Illustrious Blue a bit slow. So You Think bounced out well, so did Desperado. Savit jumped away well, Once for Wild on the improve towards the leaders. American just off them, followed by Harris Tweed. Precedence getting over close to the inside. Bucciolati diving over their heels towards the rail. Shootout was next. Harris Tweed on the improve ahead of him. Campanologist next, and dropping well back in the field at a moderate tempo only was Shocking, who's outside of Lenton, and Profound Beauty went back to last. It's Once for Wild going up on the outside of the stablemate Desperado in the early stages. Zavita's third. Harris Tweed was caught wider out, and there followed Mr. Medici, and then came Holberg. So You Think staying one away from the rail, within about 5 lengths of the leading horses early. Shootout next to the outside from American. Lucky Day not far away from Choco Trick getting up on the rail. Campanologist Red Ruler followed Illustrious Blue. Then came Bucciolati, Monaco Consul. Linton caught a little wide as they make their way towards the turn out of the straight. He's followed then by Managar over on the inside. Precedence as well back from Profound Beauty, and then zipping third last. Master O'Reilly, and Shocking from his outside barrier had gone back to last of all. Once for Wild is the leader in the Cup, and he ran along at a good tempo. Jim Cassidy on the mare. Once for Wild by about 3 lengths here. In second placing Desperado, shaded by Harris Tweed. About a length and a half away behind these horses is Zavit, who's handily poised. He's being followed closely in the field by Holberg, who's not too far away over on the outside. On the rails with him is Mr. Medici, and then So You Think about 6 or 7 lengths from the leader. Then Tokai Trick, and they're followed by Shootout, Lucky Day, Illustrious Blue, midfield the rail, American the outside, and then Red Ruler, Bucciolati, followed by Campanologist, Managar, next outside Profound Beauty, being followed by zipping over on the outside, and then Precedence, Monaco Consul, zipping, Master O'Reilly, and Shocking brings up the rear. Once for Wild for Jimmy Cassidy, and Gay Waterhouse with a 4-length lead. Harris Tweed, Desperado, Zavita's running fourth, 1200 left to go. Mr. Medici is fifth, and they're followed by So You Think and Holberg together. Holberg is out 3 wide, 1 to Tokai Trick. He's followed by Shootout, and then Lucky Day starting a move now, followed by American, and behind them Illustrious Blue, Red Ruler, Campanologist, Bucciolati, Managar. Profound Beauty well back in the field is Linton. He's being followed then by Precedence, zipping, then Monaco Consul, and towards the end still is Shocking and Master O'Reilly. Up to the turn now. Once for Wild, the narrow leader from Harris Tweed, Desperado. So You Think is poised on the outside as they swing around the turn. Next is Mr. Medici. Back behind those horses then is Shootout and Zavit. They're on the swing for home. And here Desperado trying to get up on the inside. Once for Wild, Harris Tweed, Lucky Day. Tokai Trick stayed on the inside. He's dashed to the front. Here comes So You Think down the outside with 250 metres to go. So You Think has raced up. American is a danger, then Harris Tweed. Tokai Trick the rail. So You Think in front. American is coming at him hard. American race past So You Think, and then Lucky Day. American for France, coming right away. American is coming away. American TVN scored by 2 lengths. Lucky Day.
To see the owners, the family of both the Ryans and the Bamfords, you know, cheering it, and the after parties, and woof, you know, and the after parties, they went on. It was great, and then they were kind enough to allow me to stand the horse here in Victoria, and he was a great advocate for the whole region, the whole community, and you know, he was a fantastic racehorse, and you know, he's certainly will, hopefully in a few years' time, produce his own Melbourne Cup winners.
That was a great time, not that we knew at the time. It was my first year as yearling manager. This Bella Spree out of Helsingin just walks into the barn. I took one look at her. She was strong, but she was dumpy and quite fat. So we nicknamed her Helga. I hardly fed her a thing. She hardly got an oat. She was only on white chaff and orthos. She spent a lot of time in the lunge ring and on the walker because she was just so big and had to get the weight off her. But having said that, she was the perfect yearling. Anyone could handle her. When she went through the ring, we just got a little work experience girl just to take her through because she was that quiet and she would be easy to handle. Her first start, that was amazing. I didn't think she would ever make it, so that really surprised me. I'm like, wow, she can really run. Go, Helga, go. But the CF4 was amazing. You know, a lot of people were question marking, would she get over 14? And then Pete to back her up in the Lightning a week later. That was amazing. I was there in the owners, and people were just cheering at the 400 and laughing and clapping. That was an amazing day.
Stand by, they're off and racing. Black Caviar brilliantly out of the barrier stalls, and Lone Rock jumped well, and so did Haylist, and the 3-year-old Fox Wedge was away quickly. Buffering being ridden along to try and take a position near the speed as well as they settle down. And it's Black Caviar who has a slender lead with Haylist on her outside. Haylist now going to the lead ahead of Black Caviar, and Buffering in the blue colours on the far side, the leading trio. And they were clear then from Fox Wedge, Temple of Boom, Feeling Ready, Lone Rock, Secret Flyer and Metallurgical to the 400. And Haylist closest to the stands, the leader with Black Caviar. Buffering's under the whip and 3 lengths to Fox Wedge. Down in the final 300, and Haylist clinging on narrowly, but now here comes the great mare, and Black Caviar raced up and she's gone past Haylist. Schofield had to pull the whip. She's having a bit of a race, but Black Caviar is a length and a half in front, and the wonder from down under wins again. Black Caviar 19 straight from Haylist. Photo third, Fox Wedge and Buffering.
Leading into her races, it was just unbelievable. I was a big fan of Farlap. I always watched the Farlap movies and merchandise and things like that, and to come out now and having just a small bit of history with her, it's amazing, and I'll hold it for the rest of my life.
Black Friars, I mean, I've got to say, we went to go and look at him at Collingrove up in the Hunter Valley with Dad, and as a yearling, and the first thing Dad said, my God, he's got to look like an eagle, and put him into work with the Hayes family, and Peter trained him, and he was a big sort of beautiful sort of, you know, just a great racehorse, and he just didn't really race as a two. David always and Peter always thought that he was going to be a 2-year-old type, but he then started to show. I think his first race was as a 3-year-old, and he won the Norman Robinson. Then he went into the Derby, and it was one of those great moments, actually, I've got to say, when he did win the Derby, because we were all there in our tails, and yeah, the pomp, and just to win the Derby was great. And Dad always wanted to win own and breed, or a Derby win, and he did it that day.
As they came down the side now, and Unlimited's been joined by Freemason and Royal Integrity, who's been doing nothing but working 3 wide. 2 lengths to Chief Scout third, and then came Diatribe on the inside of Blackfriars. Campamani starting a run from Shogun Lodge, and then came, as they neared the turn, Liberty Hall. Back behind those horses then, as they corner, is pulled to the outside, Troubadour. Campamani's is hanging off the track into the straight, Unlimited and Freemason corner in front. Diatribe's got the run through for Greg Hall, and he's ready to pounce. Shogun Lodge is following him home. Blackfriars has got to the extreme outside. It's Diatribe at the 300, darting to the lead, but Blackfriars is coming after him. Freemason battling along strongly, and now Shogun Lodge is getting off their heels and coming home. Diatribe headed by Blackfriars. Shogun Lodge on the outside. Blackfriars 100 out the leader. Shogun Lodge is coming after him. Blackfriars in front. He'll see it through. Blackfriars beat Shogun Lodge by half a length.
I've got one of the great pictures of he and I before the race, and you know, it's one in which I do put on the mantelpiece. It's a great one, and he was at a Blackfriars out of Kensington Gardens, who's buried here on the farm, and yeah, he was a great horse, and obviously he's done very well in Western Australia. But to me, it's a crowning moment with my father. Great fun, and there's a picture of Dad when the horse comes across the line. He's actually looking a little bit solaced, and sort of I asked him afterwards while we're all cheering. I said, what? He said, I was missing CS because CS Colin Hayes had died early part of that year. So yeah, it was great to have the winner there, and Peter Hayes trained the horse, so it was great. Iscar, being by Rory's Jester, she was a great sort of a very strong, powerful filly. I mean, she had a double forearm, which Colin Hayes always used to love, and big white blaze. Greg Charles on board. I mean, when she won the Lightning in the Newmarket, it was fantastic. She led from the front. I mean, she had very crooked legs in front, which she passed on sadly to her progeny. She only had 4 foals, and you know, one's Lang Ness, which is she's producing quite a nice Morven ready at the moment. But Iscar herself, she was just a speed machine.
Pate, there's 100 to go. Iscar in front of Dandelion Pate, and here comes El Morado with a big run. It's Iscar in front. She's tired, but she'll hold on. Iscar's won at the mighty filly score.
Peter Hayes also trained her, so it was great. He was a damn good trainer, Sir Peter. He really was, and no, we loved her. Lynn Alexander, who's a great pal of the family's and great artist, painted Iscar and Blackfriars, and it was when she presented it to me. I mean, we didn't know Peter was going to pass, and when Peter did die in March 2003, Lynn phoned me up and said, send the painting back, and she actually painted Peter down the middle of it and in his runners, because she knew pretty well, and that's a painting which I've got to say the Hayes family, and sits in Lindsay Park above the dining room there, and certainly sits in my dining room here, and back at home in England the boys have got it, and that was a very touching moment there. Rory's Jester, I mean, I've got to say, the reason why I'm in Australia is because of Rory's Jester. I mean, I was up in Hong Kong working over there when Colin Hayes won the 85, won the slipper with Rory's.
Super Swift in front of stablemate Palomino Star with 700 to go. Then Rory's Jester. They're followed by Speed Check and then Sudden. They're followed then by Timothy with New Atlantis coming around, No Parole. They're followed by Wonga Prince and Swift Cheval well back, followed then by Acumen. A long way back to True Version, who's back amongst the tail enders. Dandeliera and Marchakita well back, and so is Beach Gown down past the ledger. It's Palomino Star coming at Super Swift. Here's Rory's Jester coming off the fence. Acumen's pushing up, and Speed Check's making a run, and look at Timothy barging its way through a line of leaders, and New Atlantis down the outside. Rory's Jester in front of Speed Check, with New Atlantis putting in a good run. Anything can win. Rory's Jester in front. Speed Check trying hard, but Rory's Jester has beaten Speed Check.
The stallion stood at Syrian Vanyan's operation, which was in the Hunter Valley, and when CS started to see the yearlings and how strong they were, he said, I've got to have this stallion. So went up to this property in the Hunter Valley and in Sandy Hollow, and basically to buy the stallion he had to buy the property, which was Collingrove. So we changed the name to Collingrove. John Vincent looked after the property. We then took on Rory's Jester, and of course Rory's Jester was set up this place because in 1994, when some good heads got together and set up Vobis, the Vobis scheme, it was announced, and within 6 months we'd relocated Rory's Jester down here because it was all geared towards 2- and 3-year-old racing, and this is how Collingrove Victoria set up, and of course now Swettenham. So I owe a lot to Rory's Jester, and I mean, my heritage in Australia is probably because of him.
Well, Arosa, I was always a really big fan of Dash for Cash as a racehorse, and so when I arrived at Swettenham and Dash was standing here, I was a little bit excited. I was a big fan of his. Not only did he win his 2 Group 1s, but Rick Lacey will tell you that it's the toughest horse he's ever trained. He ran second in 4 consecutive Group 1s over 4 consecutive weeks, which is pretty tough effort for a racehorse. And remember Arosa, a daughter of Dash for Cash, came out last season and won 3 listed races, a listed race, a Group 3 and a Group 2 in 3 consecutive starts. And I just remember sitting back and watching her race and saying to myself, you know, or thinking to myself, it's like watching Dash for Cash go around again. And it was a real special moment for me.
All set to go, off and racing. New Beginning came out behind them, Mr. Stark clearly, and Karuta Queen flew out of the stalls and took up the running and led from Alta, moving through into second. Satin Shoes going through near the inside was Shamel Wind, then Ladies Angel followed by Mrs. Onassis. Dystopia on the back of the speed in about 6th spot, followed in behind them next by Detours. Forfeiture over on the rail, and then Emmeline followed further back in behind them by Miss Stella Bell. Gay's Choices out wide, Arosa in the second half of the field, followed by 4 Rainy Day, New Beginning and Soft Sanders last of all. Running up inside the 600 metre mark, Karuta Queen the leader. Led a length on Alder, Satin Shoes on the inside from Ladies Angel and Shamel Wind. Dystopia next coming up 3 and 4 deep on the home turn. And then Gay's Choice wider out, followed by Emmeline, Mrs. Onassis and then Detours. And Arosa pulled out wide. Karuta Queen in front. Alder and Dystopia sprinting fast down the centre. It's moving up quickly now to hit the lead, Dystopia. Arosa's coming after it though. It's Arosa moving up fast to hit the lead. Don't tell me she's going to win again. Arosa is surging away. And look at her go, Arosa. She's putting a space on them and goes down to win it by about 4 lengths.
Probably what's most special for the farm and why it's a highlight for me is because she was bred by a long-term client of Swettenham, someone who supported us for a long time. It was sold as a weanling, purchased by us as a weanling, then sold again as a yearling. So it passed through a lot of Swettenham hands, and to get to the racetrack and be such a great horse for the owners and also for the breeder was special for us. And of course, now there's a full brother in Onerous who's just started racing, had 2 starts and won his first start. So we look forward to watching him and following that journey with the breeder as well.
Look, probably my best memory about her, it was 2009, the running of the Robert Sanster Stakes in Adelaide. And Adam made the decision to put his lovely Dahia mare, which was Hidden Energy, into the mix. And she had been pretty unlucky in previous starts, so it was a fairly big long shot. And David Hayes, who was training her, had said, she's a genuine outside chance here. So we were all very excited and surprised when she came up and ran second to Bell Mare, who had been set for the Group 1.
Romnaya from Hidden Energy, then Tranquility Base, followed by Kervinsky. Symphony Miss heads the others from Serious Speed at the 275, and quickly racing to a clear lead now. It's Belmer. Belmer under a hold from the rider, kicked away. It's 3 in front. In second place, Champagne Harmony running on, then Absolute Glam, but Belmer is clear. She's run them off their legs, Belmer. Hidden Energy runs to second from Champagne Harmony. Serious Speed. Belmer stole it. Belmer 3/4, Hidden Energy second.
And it was just a great, passionate racing moment when for a few long strides you really think she's going to get up and win it. And I remember I was standing there with Adam and with his brother Sam, who was out from the UK with us at the time. And for the boys, it was just a lovely affiliation to have such a strong contender in their father's race and a real opportunity of winning it. And to have her run the way she did in a race like that meant so much to the family and also to racing was just really special.
Yeah, Aquano, the 2014 Melbourne Premier Sale, a lot of work had gone into Aquano, not only to bring him out to Australia to stand here, but a lot of work had gone in, a lot of time and effort had gone into promoting the yearlings, making sure that he had a good book of mares to him in that first season. So when it came to Premier time, it was kind of like our grand final in a way, and Aquano was our showpiece. And there was one lot in particular, the Aquano Hidden Energy colt. It had been featured on TVN the night before as a real highlight lot, and then again in the morning, and it was almost the pressure was on. And Aquano had sold very well up until that point, and we had a couple of lots, 140, 160, 170,000. There was something a bit different about this colt though, and it was, I felt like the pressure was on a little bit. We walked into the auditorium and it really filled up, and there was a great deal of expectation from a lot of people. And Jonesy brought the colt in, and I'll never forget. Jonesy did a terrific job handling the colt in the ring, and then the bidding got started, and I was a little bit anxious, and we got up to 20s, 40s, and 60s, and we pushed through 100, and kind of the pressure started to ease off a little bit, and 120, then 160, 180, and then we really smashed through 200, and I was sitting back thinking to myself, yeah, that's a pretty good result, that 200, I think we'll be happy with that, and 240, 260, and I remember looking across to my left-hand side, and there was one of the other staff from one of the other farms was there, and he looked at me and he said, mate, this is huge.
Now 320, 320,000 now going to be 320, 320,000 now bid he goes.
300 just came and went, 320, then 340, and we ended up at 420,000.
Give this forever, I sell left, goes bidding for 420. Steph, too strong.
And 420,000, I guess to put it into some perspective, was the highest price ever paid for a freshman sire yearling for a stallion who stood in Victoria. So for us, it was a little bit of a reward for all the hard work that we'd done over the 3 years to get to that point. And for us, if you didn't know who Aquano was up until that point, you really knew who he was after that 2014 Melbourne Premier Sale.
Belldale Ball was an interesting one. I mean, fantastic one, obviously, because it was 1980 when he won. I was at school still. I was sort of 14 years old and didn't really. It was. I mean, Dad always said to me. He said, listen. He said, the Melbourne Cup. He said it's a little bit like playing golf. At one point, you'll beat Jack Nicklaus if you're handicapped that way. I think after that day, he then realised obviously how strong the Melbourne Cup was, and he loved it, and he always wanted to win it again. And I've got to say, my then